ministerial nominees. There's controversy over the inclusion of 3 contentious nominees in its report after they were captured as having been approved by majority decision.
No, it doesn't make much sense. By majority, it means that more people on this side voted that these people should be approved.
We have more as Majority Leader Osechi Mensah-Bonsu says the document submitted by some nominees purges them of allegations against them. Also tonight, mounting pressure on President Akufo-Addo to intervene in impasse between Auditor General Daniel Domelevo and the board of the Audit Service over his return to work after 167 days of accumulated leave.
I think we should hear something from the president.
I thought the president can put his foot on the ground and say this craziness must end.
We'll hear from some civil society groups, plus bring you details of Mr. Domelevo's defiant return to work despite correspondence from the board chair of the audit service counting him as retired.
I will not make any public statement. I will not also comment on any issues. Thank you very much for showing concern.
Also, 2 investigative bodies set by the University of Ghana and the National Investigations Bureau exonerates the Noguchi Memorial Institute of Medical Research from any wrongdoing of allegations by a Ghanaian resident in the United Kingdom that he paid money to have his COVID-19 test falsified.
He did not return to Noguchi to pay any money to anybody. So, in the view of the University of Ghana, Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, this question is settled. No money was paid to anybody.
The university has meanwhile instituted actions on a path to redeem its image.
So this matter now is referred to senior university management and the legal counsel. And of course, it is also still within the jurisdiction of the National Intelligence Bureau.
And in business, Finance Minister designate Ken Ofori-Atta unlikely to present the 2021 budget to Parliament next week as President Akufo-Addo considered other 4 government officials, including Vice President Dr. Malumia.
And later, new details emerge on how Aduana Stars footballer Farouk Adams allegedly tried to conceal the color of his car after he crashed a police officer on a motorbike to death.
From our investigative eye, what we saw at the scene is I said, actually, which means somebody has gone there to touch the body and the motorbike.
We'll hear from the police who say he's currently in police custody, set to reappear in court tomorrow. Well, that and more in tonight's edition of Newsnight. Do well to download the My Joy Online app from Play Store or App Store to listen live on the internet. You're watching live on Facebook. You can also leave your comments there via WhatsApp. You can send it to us via 055 11 11 997. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Ernest.
And tonight, Parliament is set to debate the Appointments Committee report on the presidential's or the president's ministerial nominees later today. But even before that, there's controversy brewing over the inclusion of 3 contentious nominees in its report after they were captured as having been approved by majority decision. A copy of the report cited by Joy News indicates the 3 minister designates for information, Kojo Ponkruma, Dr. Ifriya Koto, and Fisheries and Aquaculture Minister Designate Hawa Kumsing are part of 13 persons approved by the committee.
Now, you recall the minority had stated its rejection of the 3, while MP4 Adansia Sokwa KTM is challenging Chairman of the Appointments Committee, Joe Osei-Wusu, to explain in detail the meaning of majority decision as captured in the committee's report. We'll hear from him shortly, but first let's go to Parliament and speak to Kwesi Parker-Wilson, who has been monitoring proceedings there for us. Parker, first run us through the nominees as contained in the report put on the floor today.
So we have 13 nominees. According to the report, 10 of the nominees were by consensus recommended to the House to approve them. And the other 3 were by a majority decision. Now, there has been controversy over the meaning of the phrase majority decision. The NPP claim that, well, it is the majority on the committee, so the majority NDC NPP put together recommended for the approval. So in this case, some individuals, though had raised concerns, they were in the minority. But the NDC disagrees with those explanations. The point they are making is that because they are using a nomenclature, majority and minority, it is the majority decision that took advantage of the situation. So technically, it is an NPP decision. And so all the 13 members on the committee, that is on the NDC, voted against the nominee. So Katie Amon, when I engaged his thought, said that, well, the only person to settle this matter will be the chairman of the appointment committee, Jose Usu.
And what were his concerns in the interview that he granted you? What exactly were his concerns?
Well, for Katie Amon, he was going by the English definition of majority, where we say majority carries the vote. So they are 26 in number. It could be that 18 of them voted in favor of the nominees, while the others voted against. And so that is a majority decision. And so if anybody wants to put a spin to it, then probably it will be the chairman who will be in the best position to let the public know the real meaning of the majority decision as being recommended in the report.
So when they say it's a majority, it may well be, I don't know, it may well have been that the 13 on our side, on the MPP side. Right. Remember, it's all rocket science. It is a split parliament that is sitting down there. It is the MPP and the NDC. Obviously, those who have been nominated are members and nominees of the president from this side, the MPP side. The MPP side. So if you say that it is the MPP majority represents the MPP, well, it shouldn't surprise anybody. It shouldn't be rocket science. It simply means that, yes, we want our president's nominee to go through.
So for clarity, yes, you suggest to say that, well, the majority is an MPP decision, just for clarity.
Well, you see, you're pushing me down this confused terrain, but that is not how I see it. I don't know those who voted out there. What I do know is that they come out with a report, which says that majority of them. You wanted me to clarify what is majority and what is consensus. Sure. Majority simply means English language, the majority of the people. That is a higher number by one or two, whatever it is, but more than on the other side. So that's why
by extension, some NDC people voted
possibly
for their
on this side and that side. We don't know what happened, but clear answer, simple answer to your question you put me is that by majority it means that more people on this side voted that these people should be approved.
So that at Dansia Sokwa MP Katie Amon there in that interview with my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson. Parker is still with us on the line. Parker, you spoke to the majority leader, outside Chairman Sobonsu. What's his position on these matters?
Right, so for the majority leader, outside Chairman Sobonsu, well, he is confident that all the nominees as presented by the president will go through the process successfully. Because for him, there hasn't been any precedent where the members of the House have kicked against a nominee or the approval of a nominee, because they do not look at the competence and the capabilities of the nominee for the ministry he or she has been assigned to. What they look at is the eligibility criteria. And for all the nominees as submitted by the president, they meet the qualification. A registered voter, a Ghanaian, a member of parliament. Some are former members of parliament. And so he doesn't see any reason why the House will disapprove their nomination.
I do know that in the matter relating to Opon Kroma, honorable member of Francia Yeribi, he's brought the relevant documents to prove that he didn't perjure himself. So we want to go through and then see the position. I think the same thing goes for the minister designated for agriculture. We want to look at that, and then
contract, which nearly cost the state about 50 million.
Want to look at that. Okay. Want to look at that. He submitted some documentation, and I'm looking at it. So far, in my considered opinion, if the documents is submitted to me are the relevant documents, then I get the impression that he rather sought to right what is wrong, to really have the way smoothened for our farmers and exporters. So unless there's something contrary to that I don't know, on account of the documents that he submitted to me, I think rather he should be commended and not be bastardized. The matter is being investigated by the police. Right. Yeah. So what's her offense in that? What can you hold against her? Is he responsible for that, for the investigation? She is not. So you ask the investigating authority, what is happening? If the police are declining comment, or the Attorney General Department is saying that, well, there's nothing before us for the time being, can anything then be held against her? In 2009, the Honorable Mumuni, who had been nominated for Foreign Affairs, when he was nominated for the position, he took the matter, I think just before the nomination or whatever, he took the matter of the findings of the Auditor General against him to court, challenging it. The courts had heard the matter. They had not just given a ruling. My own position at the time was that we should wait for the ruling from the courts. So the point I'm making is that to the extent that Hawa has not been convicted of a crime, can anybody hold it against her? I don't think so.
Majority Leader also Chairman Sabunsu there.
Well, so Parker, we're hoping that this whole matter will be settled at plenary after the suspension of sitting. What exactly is the situation? Has it begun?
As I speak to you, Parliament is still on suspension. It was just around 2 p.m. when the Speaker announced that Parliament was going for a break for just 2 hours because they needed some briefing from the Health Minister designate on the vaccine rollout. That has been done for, as I recall, in about 1.5 hours ago, and still Parliament is yet to be convened. In fact, it is emerging that even though, if you look at the appointment committee's report, by consensus, they recommended the National Security Minister, the Interior Minister, and the Defense Minister as well. The NDC side is seeking to withdraw their consensus. And so that has been a bit of a delay as to when Parliament is going to reconvene to debate on the report. So I see the two leaders, the majority leader and the minority leader, including the chairman of the appointment committee, have been in a series of meetings to see how best they can deal with the issues. Also, the minister designator who have issues have all gathered here in Parliament. The minister designator for Agri is here. The Attorney General is here. The Defense Minister is here, amongst others. So we really don't know what time Parliament is going to reconvene to debate the report. But we are told that definitely they will do that tonight. So by tomorrow morning, we'll get to know who has been approved and who hasn't been approved.
We'll stay with you, Parker, because we definitely want to know about that. But you're listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. And we'll let Parker go at this point and then...
Well, just before Parker goes, Parker mentioned that the health minister actually briefed the House on COVID-19 and the vaccination. Parker, if you can just bring us up to speed on what the minister said.
Right, so that meeting was in caucus, it was a joint committee, so the media was actually the chamber. But then my source within the meeting indicated to me that, well, the minister briefed them on the cost of the vaccines, how the plan is going to roll out. Again, when Parliament will be vaccinated, or members of Parliament, including parliamentary staff. Already, we are told that Parliament alone has been given 2,000 doses of the vaccine, even though the Speaker says it is not enough. They need not less than 6,000. The Health Minister indicated that, well, they will look at those concerns and quickly address it for the members of Parliament. So that has been the information I picked up from the briefing to the members of Parliament.
Many thanks, Kwesi Parker Wilson. That's our man in Parliament.
Now, tonight, there's mounting pressure on President Akufo-Addo to intervene in the regional impasse between Auditor General Daniel Domelevo and the board of the Audit Service over his return to work after that 167 days of forced leave. So today, Ernest, Mr. Domelevo returned to post in spite of an earlier correspondence from the board of the Audit Service, which is said to have considered that he's retired. And it was without drama. Yes. Most of you were expecting
a lot of drama.
Maybe he'll be locked out or something of the sort, but it was all a smooth sailing. But my colleague Manu Kranting was there for us. Here's his report.
On February 24, 2021, chairperson of the Audit Service Board, Professor Edward Duajiman, wrote to the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, inviting him.
So we've been here up around 7 a.m. monitoring whether or not he was going to show up. Indeed, earlier, everybody at the office, even up until now, has been tight-lipped. Nobody was saying anything until we got a glimpse of his arrival. He used a different entrance into the yard of the audit service where he was ushered into his office. And it's instructive to note that at this point, there was a sharp contrast in how he was received today against what happened. The keys had been changed. In fact, today he was giving a smooth access into his office. I also went upstairs and monitored that some technicians had come to his office and were fixing the telephone lines. I gathered that there were some issues with the telephone lines in his office. That issue has been fixed this morning, giving you an indication of the sort of reception that he's received since he arrived at the office. We've been trying to get some comments from him on the correspondence from the board on wanting him to stay away from the office because of the issues around his nationality and then, of course, his age. He's declined to comment, but he spoke to us briefly.
I will not make any public statement. I will not also comment on any issues, but it will be a disrespect to you people to just look at you and ignore you. So once again, thank you very much for showing concern and for coming. Thank you.
Another issue that waits to be seen is what will become of the legal repercussions and implications of his arrival on the premises of the office. Indeed, the board had said, in fact, challenged his nationality and in some instances referred to him based on records from his official documents as being Togolese and also referring to his date of birth as 1st June 1960, something which Daniel Domelevo in his correspondence to the board said was corrected in 1993 to 1st June 1961. And so if indeed he was born on 1st June 1960, then based on the audit board's correspondence to him, will be occupying the office this morning illegally. But we do not have details on what the implications of his arrival are yet. And that is what we are monitoring from here at the audit service premises, trying to find you the details. And when the acting auditor general, in the absence of Mr. Yao Domelevo, when he arrives here, we'll try and get a word from him also, whether or not they are going to work in synergy as they used to before the Auditor General Yao Domelevo was asked to proceed on leave some 167 days ago.
That's Manuel Cranton's report there, monitoring the situation today at the audit service. Well, ahead of his return to work, some civil society groups described the development at the audit service as shameful. Some said it was disappointing. Others also said it was unfortunate. Well, today, anti-graft campaigner Vitus Azim, the CDD's Dr. Kojo Asante, and the executive director of Imani Ghana, Franklin Kujo, want the president to step in and fix the problem.
Yeah, that's where you talk about having an axe to grind. Want to push him out by all means. They don't want him to come back because they don't know what he'll come back and do with regards to some of the things that he was pursuing. So that is the problem. You want him out so that it doesn't continue with the anti-corruption agenda, the accountability agenda that he was pursuing, especially as it affects certain people in government. And so I believe that's the only reason. Otherwise, why would you want to push him out when he just has 3 months to go? Especially when some of this information, you're not even sure that the information is true. If you ask for my personal, I would just suggest, look at your records. If you cannot justify them, maybe you just forget about it.
What can he realistically do in 3 months?
So there were certain issues that he was already pursuing. The senior minister case, for example, I don't know whether he can go back for it. I think we should hear something from the president, but until that comes, I won't be surprised if they deny him access to his office.
And for me, it's just another clear indication that, the Audit Service Board, led by its chairman, wants to continue this very shameful behavior. It seems like the only job the Audit Service is doing is to stop the Auditor General from working. And I don't, they seem to have a lot of time to do this. So it's very disappointing. I mean, we know that the Auditor General will retire in June anyway, so maybe another 3 months. So this whole matter coming at this time, obviously, for me, it's just ridiculous. and it just adds to the fuss around this whole issue.
So the story isn't pretty at all, and I thought the president can put his foot on the ground and say this craziness must end. What is playing out clearly is more than a witch hunt, really. And so for me, I'm not entirely surprised at all. I find it quite comical as well. And I think if there's anything the presidency should have learned from the last election, is that people detest this whole idea of trying to hound anti-corruption, publicly sanctioned anti-corruption agents.
And so those are some anti-graft campaigners and civil society groups speaking on the return and the issues at the audit service. But Mr. Domelevo spoke today, Emefa, and he spoke rather briefly. Let's listen to him.
I will not make any public statement. I will not comment on any issues, but it will be a disrespect to you people to just look at you and ignore you. So once again, thank you very much for showing concern and for coming. Thank you.
And so that
we just had to bring it back.
We had to do that just so you know what he said today when he met the media. Of course, we're expecting a lot to happen there, but that's all that there is for as far as
what were you expecting to happen? Well, we're still waiting to hear, because we know that the board in that correspondence mentioned that they had sent the issues about the anomalies in his personal records, even though Mr. Domelevo insists that the 1961 is the date of birth because that day falls on a Thursday. Exactly. If we check, and then we're waiting. They said they've submitted it to the presidency, but as it stands now, Presidential Affairs correspondent told us earlier that the presidency would rather not speak about it just yet, but we don't know what happens in the coming days. But of course, there was a communication also that we saw in terms of the questions that were raised about the board, whether they ought to have been in place at the time that they were writing these letters to Mr. Domelevo. So we saw a letter that was written by Nana Santibedieto to Professor Duajiman, renewing his term as the board chairperson, and that letter was dated on 20th October 2020. So we'll see what happens in the coming days. Now we'll go on to some other stories, and two investigative bodies set up by the University of Ghana and the National Investigation Bureau have exonerated the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research from wrongdoing over allegation by a Ghanaian resident in the United Kingdom that he paid 500 Ghana cedis to have his COVID-19 positive test result falsified. So Kofi Champong, in a social media post in January, alleged his sample taken by Noguchi for COVID-19 tested positive, but desperate to travel to the United Kingdom, he paid a staff or some staff at the Medical Research Center, which resulted in his COVID status changing to negative. So a committee was set up by the two bodies, and we know this matter we've been following up on, and they mentioned that there were some investigations that were underway, and they described the allegations as untrue, baseless, and without merit after 3 weeks of investigations. My colleague Elton Brobe was at the University of Ghana where the findings were made known. He joins us live. So Elton, I've been providing a brief background to these issues, but what exactly was the conclusion of these two bodies after the 3 weeks of investigations?
So Emefa, we have two reports, one from the University of Ghana 5-member committee that was set up, and also another one from the National Investigation Bureau. Because of time, I will just come to one conclusion that the two bodies appear to agree on. And they say that investigation unnerved that Kofi Champong did not use a falsified COVID-19 test result to travel to the UK on a British Airways flight. According to them, checks with British Airways indicated that the company did not request for COVID-19 test report as a condition for Kofi Champong to board their flight. Now, Professor Abraham Anam is the director at Noguchi, and he gave us further details in the report.
Apart from this positive COVID-19 test results, NMIMR does not have records of a negative COVID-19 PCR test results for Kofi Champong. Investigation revealed that, contrary to claims by Kofi Champong, he neither received a phone call from anyone at Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, promising to change the test result at a fee, nor did he return to Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research after he left the place on 12 January 2021. Investigation also unearthed that Kofi Achampon did not use a falsified COVID-19 test result to travel to the UK on British Airways flight 075. Checks with British Airways indicated that the company did not request for a COVID-19 test report as a condition for Kofi Achampon to board their flight. At the time Kofi Achampon left for UK on 12 January 2021, a COVID-19 test report was not a prerequisite for travel on British Airways flights. The claim by Kofi Achampon that he conducted a COVID-19 test on 13th January 2021 in the UK could not be immediately verified.
And Elton, I recall that when the story broke, you followed this very closely. You spoke to his lawyer, and he indicated that Kofi was available and was ready to give his side of the story or to lead evidence. Do we know what he said to the committee, or whether he was invited at all?
According to Professor Abraham, Kofi Achampon was not available throughout their investigation. Indeed, according to him, they made several contacts with him. He directed them to his lawyers, but unfortunately, there was no evidence whatsoever from Kofi Achampon to enable them come to a conclusion. Professor Abraham explains more in this regard.
Several phone discussions with Kofi Achampon, who is in the UK, to get him to assist with investigation proved futile, as on each occasion, he indicated he would prefer his lawyer to speak on the issue.
So let's talk about the issue of the monies paid to some staff of Noguchi for that result to be falsified. What exactly was the conclusion?
So that was my question to Professor Abraham Annan, that in the absence of his evidence, how were they able to come to the conclusion that no money was paid? He told me that during the investigation, indeed, the one conducted by the National Investigation Bureau, they had access to the telephone conversations that Kofi Achampon had when he was in Ghana. And in their examination, there was no point that they discovered that Kofi Achampon placed a call to anybody at Noguchi. So that particular matter was dismissed.
And so that is what is said as far as the money. Now, what about the monies paid to, what is the investee doing about the situation? Are they going to take any legal action on that?
So my information is that they referred this matter to the National Investigation Bureau. They are picking this matter up with the UK High Commission here in Ghana, because the person in question is a citizen of Irish and also a Ghanaian citizen. So because of the dual citizenship issue, they've referred the matter to the UK High Commission in Ghana. And also they've asked the university legal team to take steps. So in the coming days, they may go to court and then sue. So anytime Kofi Achampon is in Ghana, the case would take its natural life.
The situation is very clear to us that the University Legal Council and has very clearly laid down systems. So this matter now is referred to senior university management and the legal council. And of course, it is also still within the jurisdiction of the National Intelligence Bureau. So as to exactly what will be done cannot be said now, but the matter is within the appropriate quarters.
And so that's the latest on that investigations carried out by the University of Ghana. Two bodies actually helping the university to do that investigation, and the university will take legal action in due course. You're listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. You want to share with us your views and comment on the stories we've brought to you so far. 055 1111 997. George is here with the latest in business. Hello, George.
Hi,
Taking your job yet?
Not yet. Not yet, but I'll do it, please. Yeah.
When?
Not very soon. Just trying to clear some personal issues before I go for it. Yeah.
Psychological.
No, I mean, you know they said that you have to, when you have some little challenge, you need to deal with it before.
Which challenge?
You go.
You mean
That is
other health challenges?
not health challenges per se. But
Apart from health,
But
there
you're
are
not
no
paying
other
money, George.
challenges.
And I know you are
it's
rich.
not-
Assuming you have to pay, you
I
can
am
afford
going
it.
to take it, but I'm just saying that
I think
want
it's
to
just
clear something.
psychological.
It's not
That's all.
psychological.
If you say so.
There are no other issues apart from health.
No, there are no health
Tell us
issues.
something more.
Okay.
What's in
But
business?
if you're talking about that, the Ghana Employers Association is actually pushing for a compulsory COVID-19 immunization for workers and business owners because of how it's affected the sector badly. That'll be the only best way or surest way to revive the industries and businesses that have been asked a lot of their workers to actually go home. And Finance Minister designate Ken Ofori-Atta are likely to present the 2021 budget as President Akufo-Addo considers other 4 government officials for presentation, including Vice President Muhammadu Bawumia. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, and Allianz Insurance.
The sound of my heart breaking the first time I said I wanted to be a cassava farmer. Thank you. But this was when I graduated with first-class honors in agriculture. Oh, my first harvester. The last harvester I ordered online. That's people seeing my fresh cassava page on Facebook and Instagram. And endless number of calls for my quick fufu all year round.
There are beautiful connections that bridge humble todays to amazing tomorrows on Ghana's #1 network, everywhere you go.
Our 130-year journey at Allianz has seen our operations growing to cover over 92 million Allianz customers in over 70 countries worldwide. Allianz Life Insurance Ghana, a subsidiary of Allianz Group, has put together a wide range of insurance packages to suit the pockets of every Ghanaian individual, family, group, corporate body, as well as their employees. Kindly call us on 030-2267-892 or 059-144-9686 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more enquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
To celebrate Ghana's Independence Day, we are offering incredible savings to select destinations around the world. Benefit from our all-inclusive fares starting from $574, valid until 8th March 2021. Travel safely with the airline you can rely on. Book today at QatarAirways.com. Terms and conditions apply. Qatar Airways, going places together.
We know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501 683 914
or 0232 000 015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
Joy 99.7 FM.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, it's now unlikely that Finance Minister designate Ken Ofori-Atta will present the 2021 budget to Parliament. Speaking to the majority leader and caucus chairman Sabonsu, he noted that 3 cabinet ministers, including him and Vice President Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, are being considered by the president.
The minister designated for finance is not in the jurisdiction. Even if he were to be here, he's not being vetted, right? He must be vetted and approved of before, if he has to ferry the budget, he could, right? So for the time being, expect the budget to be here with us on the 12th of March, the 12th of March. So if by then he's not in the jurisdiction and he's not submitted himself for vetting, then certainly a different minister would be the one who would submit to us. Don't forget, the language of the Constitution is that the President shall cause to be late and to be late in Parliament. I think it's Article 179 says the President shall cause to be prepared and laid before Parliament at least 1 month before the end of the financial year. Estimates of the revenues and expenditure of Government of Ghana for the following financial year. Who should lay it in Parliament, right? Any minister who is not a stranger could do that. The Vice President is not a stranger. The Vice President is the head of the economic management team to do the presentation. I am the leader of government business in the House, a Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, right? To the extent that I'm approved of and appointed by the President, I could also be perhaps the person to do it. I mean, that's also a possibility. On the horizon, for instance, I can say that in terms of propelling the economy, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister responsible for Trade and Industry, right? These are people who deal with the economy. Any of them be requested by the President to present the document.
And that is Chairman Sabunsu. He is the leader of the majority caucus in Parliament. And Emefa, we may likely see a break in that convention where we have the Finance Minister doing the presentation in Parliament. Emefa come next week in Parliament when the budget is presented. Now, British Airways has reversed the decision to switch airports for its daily flights to Accra. Now, according to the Aviation Ghana News, BA officials held meeting with the former Aviation Minister Joseph Kofiada and Transport Minister designate Kweku Oforesiam last week to communicate their decision. Now, the airline was looking at switching its London-Accra flights from Heathrow to Gatwick, a decision that was actually opposed by a lot of passengers on the route and Ghanaians. Now, this forced government to formally table their protest to the airline. Now, after back and forth, the airline appears to have backed down on that move. Now, still on aviation, the Kotoka International Airport has been adjudged as the best airport in the region and in terms of customer experience. Now, this was conferred on managers of the facility by the Airport Council International for its Airport Quality Award for 2020. The recognition was also based on the number of passengers that it processed for last year, that is between 2 to 5 million. Now, the Ghana Employers Association is making a strong case for COVID-19 immunization to be made compulsory for all category of workers and business owners. According to the association, the sector stands to gain a lot looking at how it has been badly hit by the pandemic. Alex Frempong is the chief executive of the Ghana Employers Association.
All of us have a responsibility to make sure that once we the vaccination exercise, we making sure that the pandemic does not spread. And again, that will give us confidence in making sure that the businesses bounce back and they do what they have to do. Don't forget that we are yet to recover from what happened to businesses last year. And this has been compounded by the second wave. So unless and until all of us come to the realization that the vaccination is a game changer, and for that matter, all of us should really patronize the vaccination exercise, then we really are going to be in trouble.
Alex Frimpong is the chief executive of the Ghana Employers Association. Now, Consumer Goods Manufacturing giant Unilever says it plans finalizing its tea business, that is, removing its tea business from the group into a separate legal entity by the close of this year. The firm last year announced that it was moving the tea business, which includes a brands like Lipton, into a separate legal entity. The move is part of strategies to actually concentrate and improve its operations as a manufacturing giant. The UK government has appointed diplomat and the immediate deputy High Commissioner for Nigeria, that is to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, as the new High Commissioner to the country. She is expected to take over from Ian Walker, who will be leaving Ghana this summer, who was served, actually, she is coming in at a time when she is expected to strengthen the economic tie between the country, just on the back of this new trade deal that has been signed between the two countries. And to the stock market, if you are a shareholder of Cowbank, the value of each share held was up by 3 pesos and is now worth 83 pesos. That is for each share of Cowbank shares. that you're holding if you are an investor. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Emefa and Kuju.
Kweku, I swear I did what? I forgot my boss say in client come, but I don't get credit on my phone. I beg, I go.
I'm laughing like killer. In this day and age, your excuse for not making that call is that you don't have credit. Oh, then you are not a Vodafone customer. Because you get a boozing 500% bonus anytime you buy credit via Vodafone Cash or Vodafone Credit Transfer. It's like you didn't hear me well. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 500%. Hey, my friend, you don't have an excuse, oh. Excuse no shit. Dial *110# or visit the nearest credit transfer vendor to buy credit because 500% bonus. Vodafone.
Ready?
Hey, I say, mix the cement in correct proportional.
Hey, contractor.
Hey, Baganye, what you so?
Yeah, Malande. Sorry, I say. What do you change the year of return, Ankasa? Hey, contractor. A danya wasting ye. Hey, what would you want feel it too much?
Who project here? My friend Gassem from top to down. You be a Gassem.
Hey, yes, solid pa.
Hey, you see Gassem, and for soup in our do on your quality no quatin. Yeah, you see Gassem cement and your pudio womo. One package na on no wahala. Improve over 5,000 in your share. No more schools, no more clinics on your donations.
Never compromise on quality. Choose the value Gassem offers you always.
In these uncertain times, stay safe and follow all the COVID-19 safety protocols.
Gassem, the nation builder.
Our 130-year journey at Allianz has seen our operations growing to cover over 92 million Allianz customers in over 70 countries worldwide. Allianz Life Insurance Ghana, a subsidiary of Allianz Group, has put together a wide range of insurance packages to suit the pockets of every Ghanaian individual, family, group, corporate body, as well as their employees. Kindly call us on 030-2267-892 or 059-144-9686 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more enquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. I'll go through a few of your comments that you've sent in. Wolanyo in Akwetia says, supposing two different dates of birth were seen in any of the minister's designated document adverting, would that nominee take it easy? Mr. Domelevo must admit there is an error, and because his office deals with auditing, it is not wrong to audit his document, and the impression created that someone is fabricating stories against him should cease. Wolanyo, those are your thoughts. And this one says, from Mauto in Kejabi, says, I hope the judgment of the Supreme Court tomorrow will be satisfactory so as to win the confidence of all Ghanaians. That's your thoughts, Mauto. So this one also says it is only under Kufado's presidency that an Auditor General can go on leave as a Ghanaian and resume work after his leave and be called a Togolese. Kofi Seidu sends that one. So this one from Eric Kwawe Naflao says, so Mr. Domelevo and the Auditor General was appointed as a Ghanaian. Okay, so it looks like it's making rounds. Echo also sends that one. And we have to support institutions and journalists to fight corruption. We should be ashamed of ourselves the way we treat the Auditor General, Mr. Domelevo. That's Lincoln in Akwetiman. Your thoughts there. Yao in Achimota says, Mr. Domelevo brought all these brouhaha upon himself, but you failed to say how he did. We do some other stories now and closely related to football.
Yeah. Footballer with Premier League side, Aduana Stars Farouk Adams, allegedly tried to change the color of his car after he crashed a policeman on a motorbike to death 3 days ago. That's according to the Wamfit District Police Commander, DSP Francis Akwesi Asante, in an interview on Kumasi-based Hello FM. Now, a police statement says the young policeman, Constable Amos Mate, was at a checkpoint on duty when he sought permission to go to town to buy mosquito repellent, but did not return after many hours. Now, police was later alerted to his body on the Esiotiano Esushia Road. Oh my God, that Emefa.
It's Sutiano, it's
Sushia Road. We'll hear more from the police commander shortly, but first, Joy Sports report. Here's the Joy Sports report on the story so far.
The player who won the NASCO match award in week 16 of the Ghana Premier League match between Aduana Stars and Inter Allies at Doma was driving from Sunyani back to Doma when the accident happened. According to sources, the player alleges he knocked down a suspected animal that crossed the car, upon which he stopped but found nothing. The source said he alleges he later parked the car at a nearby fuel station where he called the car owner about the accident and proceeded to the Wamfie Polyclinic to attend to an injury he sustained. He later went back to the accident scene with the car owner but again found nothing. He then left for Doma in a different vehicle while a mechanic moved the other car to Sunyani on the orders of the actual owner, the source said. Farouk Adams alleged it was his friend who later told him the accident had caused the death of one person. He then reported it to the Doma police station around 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday and was subsequently arrested by the Wamfie police. A police source said they had information of an accident victim only to find a lifeless body of Constable Mate by the road at the scene. The body has been deposited at the Presby Hospital at Doma while investigations continue.
And so that's a Joy Sports report on the issue. Hans Mensando joins us in the studio with more on this. Hans, we'll hear from the police shortly, but what do you know about this Aduana Stars defender, Farouk Adams? We understand his contract with the club has ended and was due to travel to the U.S. in the coming days.
Indeed, his contract had ended with Aduana Stars, but out of the love and loyalty he has for the club, he elected to continue playing for the side, and indeed he had been involved for the side in the ongoing Ghana Premier League. He's been one of the most reliable, defenders in the league. We also understand that he has an agreement in principle with a club in the United States, MLS, to be joining them very soon. And this, tragedy has occurred.
How is the football community taking this?
For fans of Aduana Stars and people of Doma Hinkro, because of the loyalty that the player has shown, a lot of people are quite sad about the development. One, for the passing of the police officer, and then the situation that Adams finds himself in. Like I mentioned, Aduana Stars is a very traditional club, and it's heavily supported by the people of Doma Hinkro and its environs. And so, generally, people are sad for the police officer and for the player as well.
Let us now hear from the Wamfie District Commander, DSP Francis Akwesi Asante, providing more details, or fresh details actually, on the Aduana Stars defender allegedly trying to change the color of his car after this accident.
About 3 days ago, one of our men, Constable Amos Mate, was on checkpoint duties with his other colleagues on the Brekum Road. He asked for permission to go and buy mosquito repellent. He was using a motorbike. He left around 7 p.m. but did not return after many hours. He did not respond to the calls and the text messages. In the morning, we were alerted to a crash on that road. When the policemen rushed to the scene, they realized it was their colleague who sought permission to go to town. His lifeless body was in the bush with his motorbike parked.
Hit and run, investigations. Now, investigations say there was some red paint on the bike. They suspected a car involved in red.
We started investigations and realized it was a hit and run situation. There was red paint on his motorbike, so we suspected he was crashed by a red car. Fortunately, we got a CCTV footage of the car. So we got the registration number, we contacted the DVLA with it, and it led to 31-year-old Adams Farouk of Aduana Stars. They took the car to Sunyani to change the color, the registration number, and the doors. We also managed to impound it. It is now in the custody of the police.
At the scene, you say, the quiet not Union or I said, or actually, and I'm motorbike and also
When we went, our colleague was sitting in the bush. His motorbike was also parked. We suggest someone had gone there to touch the body and the motorbike. We cannot confirm that it was the suspect who did it.
No, because social car they see a greasy motorbike, a long and the side to have been a car on what I say. A total different class, but we cannot confirm, say, when a man or so for natural and something like that.
So that is the Wamfie District Commander DSP Francis Akwesi Asante in that interview with Hello FM. Hans is still with me in the studio. Hans, let's talk about the charges.
So, Ernest, we understand that the Bono Police has charged Adams on 2 counts. That's one, careless and inconsiderate driving, and negligently causing harm. He is to appear before the Fiapre court in Sunyani, in the Sunyani West municipality.
Let's go to the region now. Precious Emefa is a man there. He's been following this story. Precious, we understand that family members and officials of his football team have been visiting him at the police station. Tell us all about that.
Yes, so Ernest, the club, the Diana Stars, members of the management team, the technical team, and then Diana Fraternity. When I got to the Bono Regional Police Headquarters, they were there to support him. They hung around until the charges were preferred against Farouk Adams. Now, when he was to be moved to Fiapre Court to face the court, they followed Farouk Adams, who was in handcuffs in a police patrol car from Wemfie to Fiapre Circuit Court. There were other people aside the Diana club. I know all of them, but those that I don't know, I am unable to say that whether they are family members or just friends who came around to sympathize with Farouk Adams.
Precious, thank you very much for those details from the region where this incident has happened. Very unfortunate, Emefa.
Very, very. We'll stay on police-related matters, and we know that they face some of the most dangerous and demanding situations imaginable in their line of work. Now, although their duties are essential to society, it can be very strenuous to those in the profession. Compounding their predicament is the poor working conditions faced within the service, causing many emotional and physical strain. Well, a police officer has been sharing his experience with journeys, explaining why some of his colleagues are suffering psychological problems. His words have been voiced by an actor.
Regards to the recent happenings in the police service, especially the suicide, it is real. It's just that nobody cares about it. The first I will talk about is stress. Officers, especially junior ranks, are the most stressed. They go to work 24 hours, and the least is 12 hours without a single day off in a year. Moreover, what they are entitled to, which is a 42 days annual leave, is not granted to them when they request for it. We can write for the entire 42 days to go and do other things and rest, but unfortunately, your commander can decide to give you only a portion of it. It can be 10, 14, or 15 days, but your entire leave days will not be granted. If you complain, you have yourself to blame. So whether you are happy or not, all you have to do is carry your gun and go to work. Another thing is, most of the senior officers don't listen to us. You can have a genuine complaint, but all that they will tell you is they also came to meet it like that. So you too keep quiet and do as you are told. Whether the thing is killing you or not, for them, what they want is to see you working. Another thing is uniforms or police accoutrement that we are not supposed to buy per our police laws is no more. If you take your pay, you use it on uniforms, your boot, beret, and other things. And who be tied to you if you are not able to get these things?
Well, you have a police officer sharing his experience with us, and that voice that's his words were voiced by an actor. But we can hear from the Inspector General of Police, James Opombueno. He's commissioned a 4-day psychological training program as a first step to improve the welfare of his officers.
A number of police personnel are going through self conditions as a result of family and work-related issues. Officers, this is why I'm organizing these courses for you. The welfare of your personnel must be paramount. The situation gets severe when such people have no appropriate avenues to express their concerns for suitable redress. In extreme cases, they resort to suicide as a solution to their mental agony. We must note, officers, that we have very young officers working under us. Therefore, it is very necessary we take our time and listen to them.
Now, the Inspector General of Police, James Opomwen, let me take you back to Parliament briefly, where the House is expected to debate the Appointments Committee's report on the nominees, ministerial nominees, and we're told there's some development there. My colleague, Kwesi Parker-Wilson, joins us on the line. Kwesi, bring us up to speed on happenings in Parliament. Hello, Parker.
Yeah, hello, Emefa.
What's the development in Parliament?
Right, so Emefa, the House, the members of Parliament resumed sitting, and the Speaker was asking whether, looking at the time, they should debate on the report. But then the minority were agitating and protesting against the decision. And the explanation was that most of the members did not have copies of the report, and so they will not have time to thoroughly peruse the 144-page document. And so they are asking the Speaker to defer the debate to tomorrow so that at least you give them the opportunity to peruse the document. But then the majority side disagrees. They claim that as at 11 a.m., all members of the House had received copies of the report, with the exception of just the CEO, which they admit. But then the Speaker just ruled just about a minute ago that, well, they will do a head count, and whoever wins, that will decide whether they should proceed with the debate or defer it tomorrow.
We look forward to whatever it is that they decide on. Thank you very much. That's my colleague, Kwesi Parker-Wilson. Ernest, just before we go, I've been wondering, I see you eat Indomie and all kinds of things. Do you eat
for the
kokonte?
record, I've not had Indomie in like more than a month.
Oh, okay. You're
Yes.
pledging yourself of Indomie.
Yes.
Okay. Abeku says it's not true. But do you like kokonte?
No, I don't.
You don't? Eh? You don't like kokonte?
Yeah.
Okay. You listen to this report. Your mind will be changed.
Today at Obaya's Choba at Krofo in Kumasi, we want to celebrate a particular Ghanaian indigenous food with many names.
Face the wall.
Chris Brown,
Minima bete konkontene bancha yedwa ya hata no. Nti e kan na ya bete.
Lapiwa, Kraman Brick, Amferwase,
Tapioca, brown.
The dried cassava is then milled before cooking.
What if the machine mo ba? O din so hye si jaso no ama na hu. Na wasese aduane na gum. Ansa. No afra no na woka no na fia. Na ye kama.
Auntie Efia Sewa has been selling konkonte for the past 20 years. Her youngster's choba at Asafo in Kumasi is a big joint for konkonte. Auntie Efia says the business is very lucrative.
Abete no topa. Nti bia abete no kra besa no. Na benku na motuo no. Ansa na obi ba no enye bia no aba ha. Aba motuo no ho abeto. Obi ba kra na asan. Na osiwo wa ha me pa.
CEO of Obaya Choba wonders why people claim not to like konkonte, but the meal gets consumed earlier than any of the food on the menu.
It has many names. Face the wall. Amferwasi.
Self-acclaimed konkonte ambassador Erastos Asari Donko digs into the meaning of some of the names of konkonte and why he likes the delicacy.
It's a type of food that people don't want to associate themselves with. They think that is a poor man's food and all that. I beg to differ. And so previously when people are eating abetie, you see that they will get to the corner of the chop bar and they will face the wall.
I fully associate myself with kokonte. Hey, face the wall. You have no idea. Master, let's go. That's it for tonight's edition of News. Hey, well, Strong and Sassy is coming up next with Enimwa Enimado. Our vulnerability, our strength. You can't miss it. Thanks for your company.
My name is Ernest. I did this with Emefa.